On Wall Street with President Bush and both presidential candidates applying pressure on their colleagues to get the job done. John McCain and Barack Obama spoke to President Bush by phone today, both working on a concrete plan to bail out the struggling economy. And both candidates suggest an increase in the federal deposit insurance limit from $100,000 to $250,000 to help small business owners and avoid runs on banks. But persuading the undecided has been a problem, and House leaders return to Capitol Hill after the Rosh Hashanah holiday. They return on Thursday. And now joining us live in the studio is Congressman Don Manzullo, who was one of the lawmakers who did turn down the bailout plan yesterday, and it's great to have you here.
Well, I didn't really want to be here. I belong in Washington.
Right.
The Speaker should have kept us in 24/7 with sleeping cots to get this worked out, because we have a very, very serious problem.
So the markets obviously rallied today, a huge rally, a record rally today. Does that mean that you guys, are those who voted no, did the right thing? Are they confident in what you did?
What I did was to join 95 Democrats and 135 Republicans in saying we could not vote for a bill as to which we were given no alternatives. This bill created a Secretary of Treasury with unprecedented powers. First of all, I did not want to have any powers checked by the courts or administrative agencies. We got that out of it. But it would bail out bad mortgages, credit card debts, and automobile debts. I mean, that was added into the fine language that people could not see. The alternatives would not have placed the burden on the backs of the taxpayers, but on the backs of the people involved in the bailout. For example, we desperately tried to get an alternative similar to the S&L bailout in 1981, whereby the FDIC worked with the banks and the S&Ls, bailed them out. The cost to the taxpayers was minimal on it.
So what is it going to take for you to vote yes?
Well, what it's going to take is something that shows responsibility, that is tested, that will work, and not something that's just a shot in the dark and places the burden on the back of the taxpayers. We want a plan. We want to get this done. The Illinois delegation split 9-9. The Democrats split on this thing. 4 of the 9 Democrats voted no on it because they're just upset with the fact that it does not include the basic reforms, and this plan would place $700 billion in the hands of the very people that made the mistakes and trust them to bail us out. That's not the way to do it.
I heard one Missouri representative received 1,000 letters, and it was about 6-1 against the plan. So especially with the election 5 weeks away, do you think that has any bearing on how some people voted? The fact that their constituents are saying they're against the plan, and with the election coming so soon, listening to the constituents?
Well, constituents want a plan that works, not that one that assesses a $700 billion debt on their backs when they've had nothing to do to bring about this problem. And that's why the plan that has to be acceptable to the American people is one that says those who are responsible for it should be assessed a premium to bail us out of it. You know, it's not that difficult to come up with something like that. But just to say we're going to give the Secretary of Treasury $700 billion, and he can go out and place it wherever he wants, that's risky.
So do you think no action should be taken at all as far as bailing out?
Some members of Congress think that no action should be taken, and that's why the market went up. I think that we can take actions. First of all, we have to stop the problem of selling houses to people that can't even make the down payment. The second thing we have to do is all these exotic debt instruments that have gone unregulated and have showed up on the books of different banks that are bringing them down. We have to be able to say, look at, what is the reasonable value of a group of mortgages that you have? Is it 0, which is the SEC and the regulators say it is, or does it have a reasonable value? The reasonable value is worth at least the value of the reduced value of the homes themselves. So overnight, we've been urging the head of the SEC, Chris Cox, to sign a document that will waive a certain type of accounting requirement so that the books will adequately reflect the value of these homes. That'll create billions of dollars of capital within the market and cost the taxpayers 0. At least give us the opportunity to represent the taxpayers to get them off
Well, we
off the hook of paying all this kind of money.
On that note, we
you
thank
can tell
you.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I tell you what, we thank you for coming. We hope you have a short trip back to the state line
Thank
to get
you.
back to Washington.
Well, I got to
but
go
we
back
thank you.
tomorrow.
All right, well, very good. Well, thanks
you.
for your time, Congressman Don Manzullo.
And we did speak to Manzullo's challenger Green Party candidate Scott Summers to get his thoughts on the failed plan, and Summers says he too would have voted against it. He adds that it did not have enough consumer protection. However, Summers says this isn't the time to panic, and he has faith in Congress that they will reach a plan that is beneficial for all Americans. And taking the politics out of the bailout debate, Amcor Bank Investment Officer Craig Holmes stopped by the Morning Blend to talk with Aaron Wilson about the credit crunch.
Yeah, Aaron asked Holm how the credit crunch on Wall Street will affect business owners on State Street, and according to Holm, it would affect them more than one might think.
If a business, especially in